What's up, Roma fans? We got a lot to talk about as usual. We'll talk about the Torino game that didn't go the way that we had hoped, I guess. And then, as the title suggests, we'll talk about the Juve game coming up on Saturday. That Torino game. We started a B lineup. I don't know why. I know that we got Juve coming up on Saturday, but the lineup that we put out, when I saw that, I didn't think we were going to win. And that's sad to say because it's the Coppa Italia. That's our chance. That's our biggest chance of winning silverware. I get it doesn't mean much or it doesn't bring that much revenue to the club, but still, we keep talking about winning silverware. What are we talking about? Do we really expect to be winning the Champions League? I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. Do we expect to win the Serie A? There's more of a chance than the Champions League, but are we better than Juve? Maybe not in terms of depth, So maybe if we put out our best lineup and Juve puts out our best lineup, maybe we win. But because there's so many games in the season, that's not enough. Then there's Napoli, who is right up there with us and beat us, and same with Inter. So to say that we're going to just simply rely on the Serie A title and hope that we're going to win silverware this year, I don't know. It just doesn't add up. The Coppa Italia was our chance. We blew it. Defensively, Moreno and Juan Jesus were never going to work. We know that just Juan Jesus coming on is already a little bit worrisome for us. Not because he's been bad, he's been okay, but it's not the same as when Manolas and Fazio are there. It's very different. So putting Moreno, who barely has played a minute, and Juan Jesus together, I was nervous. Emerson Palmieri comes back from injury, and he did his best. Unfortunately, one of the goals he didn't track back fast enough. The guy hasn't played in forever, so I guess it's all right. But what did we think was going to happen, Bruno Perez, like I said last time, he actually started, so that's good for him in a way because if they were planning to sell him, there would be more of a chance that we would know already if he didn't start that game. So he started. El Shaarawy played. Perotti came on after. Perotti I know a lot of people are giving him a lot of praise. I just can't get behind him. For a winger, he just doesn't score. He doesn't score enough. Dzeko misses a penalty shot. His third straight miss in a row. We got some problems on our hands. Now, the one positive out of that game was, I guess, Patrick Schick scoring that goal and it being set up by El Shaarawy. So as usual, El Shaarawy's lighting that spark, which is good. And Patrick Schick put it in like a true goal scorer. So this is what I'm talking about. If you would put Perotti in that exact same position, right? Because Patrick Schick has been playing the wing when Dzeko's on. And Patrick Schick launched that ball beautifully into the right corner. I don't have the confidence that Diego Perotti would have done that, which sucks. Because El Shaarawy, we've seen, has done that, and he's probably just about our only winger who's been consistent with his finishing. Perotti just making bad choices. Cengiz underperforming. He's playing now, and it's getting scary because he just keeps on reminding us of Iturbe, I find. You get a couple of glimpses of speed and technique, but the guy just doesn't seem to know what he's doing. He puts his head down and he's just running all over the place. And it's unfortunate because I think he could be good, and I think we may loan him out and it might make him grow a little bit. And let's hope that happens because right now it's not looking great. So in terms of the transfer market, nothing great to talk about here. Emerson Palmieri is still a huge talk going around the Roma camp. Everyone's wanting him right now. Inter, I heard Newcastle, Liverpool has talked about him. And, at that point, once everyone starts talking about him, it just means that he's a popular dude. And we don't know actually where he's going to go. So let's not talk about that too much. Let's spend our time on Juve. So Juve this Saturday. We rested everyone. We got no excuses at this point. Not even Alisson played the Torino match. So Alisson, not that he's running, is perfectly fresh. He didn't have to stress this week. He didn't play. The last game was Saturday, so he's got 1 week in between the games. He's ready to go. Kolarov, he's ready to go. Fazio, Manolas, they're ready to go. Florenzi at right back, ready to go. The midfield as well, unless Strootman's playing, they should be ready to go. Gonalon's played, so now you would assume De Rossi is going to start against Juve. Nainggolan didn't play, so we assume he's going to start against Juve. And we don't know if Strootman or Pellegrini are going to play. Because Strootman played the Coppa, maybe Pellegrini will play against Juve. I guess we'll see what happens there. Dzeko, I mean, is pretty much an obvious start. Now the wingers is when we can get creative. I think personally we have no choice but to play El Shaarawy here. El Shaarawy's been the only one who's kind of lifted us out of danger, and he almost brought us back into that game, and we would have tied that game if it wasn't for Dzeko's penalty miss. So El Shaarawy, to me, and he may not start knowing Di Francesco, I think he's got to play. I think Di Francesco will start Perotti instead of El Shaarawy, and that bothers me a little bit. But against Chelsea, he did what he had to do, and we won that last game. So let's see what happens. Patrick Schick, is he going to start at right wing? I'm not sure. I would think maybe Perotti and El Shaarawy start that game. He scored last game, Schick, but just these days you don't even know. For all we know, Gerson could start right wing. And I know you guys are like, what the hell? Why would Gerson start right wing? If Di Francesco is not planning to attack too much, which I don't think is going to be the case, then Gerson could be a better option on that right wing because he's more of a midfielder and he pulls back a little bit more. He did score 2 goals against Fiorentina, so you never know. And Fiorentina's not a bad team. So basically, that's what I expect to see from our team. Look, to me, this is a huge game. We're on a slump, and it doesn't matter right now in terms of points because everyone's dropping some points. But the big problem is the confidence, and we've seen this too many times now from Roma. We saw it with Garcia, we saw it with Spalletti, and it seems like we're seeing it already with Di Francesco. And we just can't go into these slumps because, sure, Juve drops the occasional point, and sometimes they start the season poorly. But when they get going, they're consistent, a lot more consistent than us. We have pockets of consistency, and when you're trying to finish first, you're kind of hoping that everyone else screws up too to keep you in that game, and that's just not the game you want to be playing if you want to finish first. I think the way they're looking at it is they want to push for first, but we got some young players, and I think they're thinking more long term. But that's what we've been doing forever. We've always been thinking, it's okay if we just grab onto the Champions League spot, we should be happy this year. But that just doesn't work at some point. When are we going to win our next Scudetto? It's unfortunate. And we'll see what happens at the Juve game. Juve game is Juve is trying to, I guess, pick up where they left off last year, and they're really picking it up. Pjanic is back in form. Mandzukic seems to be scoring. Dybala, in the Coppa Italia, scored a beautiful goal with a nice spin before a beautiful finish. Higuain's back on the board in that game too. If we're going to win, I think what we're going to have to do is be solid on defense. And I think we have been, so that's good. But we got to score. And Perotti to me is just not bringing enough. Dzeko isn't bringing enough. If we set him up and we put it beautifully on his foot, will he score? Probably, but they got Dybala, who you put it on his foot, but his back is to goal, and he makes this beautiful turn to open himself up. Dzeko just doesn't seem to do that often. Doesn't create that much space for himself. So that sucks. Let's just be honest. That sucks. We need more. And Patrick Schick works his butt off. I don't think he'll start at striker. I think for sure Dzeko's going to play. I think we all know that. So I guess we'll see what happens. But do I expect Rome to win this game? It's sad to say, but I'm going to have to say no. We're playing in Juve. I think if you bet actually on Roma, you get more than 4 times your money. And that kind of just tells you how the bookmakers feel about us. Not good. And it probably is just due to that small drop in consistency. But that's what it is. Juve's on the up, and we're kind of on the down. And I did mention this in one of my other videos that we like to rise to the occasion, and we play kind of at the level of our opponents. But now we're going to see that because we'll see now for sure. Like, there's no way around this. We got our full out starting lineup. We'll see how we perform. If we don't perform well, we're in a slump, and now it's time to worry. We can still lose and have a good performance. So I'm not saying if we lose, we're in deep shit. But what I am saying is we got to win. We have to win. And that's just me being optimistic. We got to win. We got to take it to them as if we're going to win. And if we don't win, it's fine. But we got to play like a team who knows they can win this game. And against the other teams, like right now against Torino, it doesn't feel like we know we're going to win. It feels like, okay, let's hold on to the ball. And I'm sure eventually something will happen. And then it doesn't. So we'll see what happens. We already know we're going back in with that 4-3-3. And we'll see what adjustments are made within that formation to kind of help us out. So, as usual, guys, if you like the video, please subscribe. The channel just keeps getting better and better. My last video in a day was above 250 views, which is a huge step up. So I appreciate the support from everyone. And if you guys have any suggestions at all that I could be doing better, please let me know, and I will definitely take them into consideration. Thanks, guys. Cheers.